Hare Krishna. Omagyanatimanasya jananjana shalakaya Shakshran militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namini. Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachaya Desatarani. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So today we will discuss Canto 10, Chapter 45, verses 26 till 50. So we'll start with reading text 26. Atasura sutta rajan putrayo samakarayat buddha sabhamanascha yatavat vicha samskritim. My dear king, then Vasudeva, the son of Surasena, arranged for a priest and other Brahmins to perform his two sons' second birth initiation. So we see the word Purodasa by a priest. This priest, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, is Garga Muni. Vasudeva arranged to have an Upanayana Samskar performed by Garga and other Brahmins. Jiva Goswami says the same, but he says, because the word Surasutta is used. So Vasudeva performed the ceremony with his father Sura. But when he writes, Rohini was brought from Vraj, so she was also there. So Sanatan Goswami writes, after Nanda departed for Vraj, Vasudeva performed the samskar, since he had to do it with his sons present in Mathura. Vasudeva performed the ceremony with his father named Sura, that is suggested by the phrase Surasutta, the son of Sura. Sura also suggests capacity for all things. This was done according to the rules, O king. As a Kshatriya you know this procedure. Explaining the details is not necessary. Vasudeva was shining Rajan because of great joy. Rohini was brought from Vraj. Text 27. Vasudeva honored these Brahmins by worshipping them and giving them fine ornaments and well-ornamented cows and calves. All these cows wore gold necklaces and linen wreaths. So the cows wore garlands of linen cloth as well as gold garlands, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Jiva Goswami refers to Sridhar Swami. He says Sridhar Swami's explanation of Rukmasya Mala Vidyanteya Samta suggests he's referring to another version with Rukma Malini, but this version is not seen anywhere. Svalanketya indicates that the Brahmins were decorated by Vasudeva. So Sanatan Goswami says, he worshipped the Brahmins according to the rules, with the finest ornaments, with faith. Text 28 and 29, purport. The magnanimous Vasudeva then remembered the cows he had mentally given away on the occasion of Krishna's and Balaram's birth. Kamsa had stolen these cows, and Vasudeva now recovered them and gave them away in charity also. Purport. At the time of Krishna's appearance, Vasudeva had been imprisoned by Kamsa, who had stolen all his cows. Still, Vasudeva had been so jubilant at the birth of the Lord that he mentally donated 10,000 of his cows to the Brahmins. Now, upon Kamsa's death, Vasudeva took back all his cows from the late king's herd and gave 10,000 of them, according to religious principles, to devotee Brahmins. That the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, when Krishna and Balaram were born, Vasudeva mentally gave the cows in his possession to the Brahmins. However, Kamsa had stolen all those cows. Now Vasudeva went to Kamsa's Gosal and took cows back and gave them to the Brahmins. So we see that the purport that we read is based on Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's comment. The Jiva Goswami's purport is similar, and also Sanatana Goswami. So, text 29. After attaining twice-born status through initiation, the Lord sincerely, in their vows, took the further vow of celibacy from Garga Muni, the spiritual master of the Yadus. Purport. Both Sridhar Swami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained the term Gayatram Vratam as the vow of brahmacharya or celibacy in student life. Krishna and Balaram were playing the part of perfect students on the path of self-realization. Of course, in modern degraded age, student life has become a wild, animalistic affair filled with illicit sex and drugs. So it is part of the Varnashram system that children at an early age, the children who are Kshatriyas and Brahmins, they take second initiation. Now Krishna has gone back to his Kshatriya father, and he has to take the Gayatri initiation and the vow of celibacy. So now text 30 and 31. Concealing their innately perfect knowledge by their human-like activities, those two omniscient lords of the universe, themselves the origin of all branches of knowledge, next desired to reside at the school of a spiritual master. They approached Sandipani Muni, a native of Kashi, living in the city of Avanti. Avanti is today Ujjain. In Ujjain temple we have a separate altar for Sandipani Muni, Krishna and Balaram. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, says, Krishna had knowledge given by or dependent on others. This, however, he covered up while he was acting as a normal being. Therefore, he went to the Gurukul to acquire knowledge. So after initiation, normally you go to the Gurukul at the age of 11, so they went to the Gurukul. So, Nectar of Devotion, chapter 50, tells us a bit about the ladies of Mathura. So one resident of Mathura requested her father to bolt the doors and then go with her to the school of Sandipani Muni to find Krishna. She complained that Krishna had completely stolen her mind. In this incident, there is a mixture of conjugal love and parental love, but there is no incompatibility. This is Nectar of Devotion. So now we go to text 32. Sandipani thought very highly of these two self-controlled disciples, whom he had obtained so fortuitously by serving him as devoutly as one would serve the Supreme Lord himself. They showed others an irreproachable example of how to worship the spiritual master. So nobody can say that they don't need a spiritual master, because Krishna is the spiritual master. So he is the example. There was one quality that Krishna showed when he was at the place of his spiritual master. And in that quality is described in Nectar of Devotion, quality 24, forbearing. So, just a moment. I'm now going to Nectar of Devotion. And we go to chapter 21. 21. And there we have a whole list of qualities, 30 qualities. There we go to forbearing. Forbearing. So, a person who tolerates all kinds of troubles, even though such troubles appear to be unbearable, is called forbearing. When Krishna was residing at the place of his spiritual master, he did not mind taking all troubles in rendering service to his guru, although his body was very soft and delicate. It is the duty of the disciple to execute all services unto the spiritual master despite all kinds of difficulties. The disciple living at the residence of the spiritual master has to go begging from door to door and bring everything back to the spiritual master. When prasad is being served, the spiritual master is supposed to call each disciple to come to eat. If by chance the spiritual master forgets to call the disciple to partake of the prasad, it is enjoined in the scriptures that the student should fast on that day rather than accept food on his own initiative. There are many strictures. Sometimes also Krishna went to the forest to collect dry wood for fuel. That is Nectar of Devotion. This is what's happening at the Gurukul. According to Nectar of Devotion, Krishna was very forbearing. And now we go to text 33. The best of Brahmins, the spiritual master Sandipani, was satisfied with their submissive behavior, and thus he taught them the entire Vedas together with the 6 corollaries and the Upanishads. So the 6 corollaries of the Vedas, they are the Chanda, Nirukta, Siksha, the Jyotish, Vikarana. Vikarana is grammar. Jagya, sacrifices. Jyotish is predictions. Yeah. Siksha, instructions. That Chanda is learning meters. Nirukta, that Srila Prabhupada speaks about the Nirukta dictionary. Maybe related, I don't know. But let's see. Now we continue.
Maharaj, can you repeat the 6 corollaries?
Yeah. The names are Chanda, learning meters. Nirukta, not sure what it means, but I think it's learning words and so on. Siksha, instructions. Jyotish, yeah, astrological predictions. Vikarana is the grammar, and Jagya, the art of performing sacrifices. So these are the 6 ones that Jiva Goswami writes, he was satisfied by their actions conducted with bhakti, sudabhav. This will be explained later by the Lord in the story of Sridham, and therefore it is not explained by Sukadev here. They learned 4 Vedas. Sanatana Goswami, he was satisfied by their actions conducted with bhakti, sudabhav. Yeah, then it's the same commentary, repeated by Jiva Goswami. But then it said he was a famous teacher or was accepted as Acharya. Thus he spoke with great affection, provacha. He taught only to them as Kshatriyas. Text 34, read the purport. He also taught them the Dhanur Veda with its most confidential secrets, the standard books of law, the method of logical reasoning and philosophical debate, and the 6-fold science of politics. So, the purport. Srila Sridhar Swami explains that the confidential portion of the Dhanur Veda, military science, include knowledge of the appropriate mantras and presiding deities of warfare. Dharman refers to the Manu Samhita and other standard law books, Dharma Shastras. Nyayapatan refers to the doctrine of Karma Mimamsa and other such theories. Anvikshikim is knowledge of the techniques of logical argument, Tarka. The 6-fold political science is quite pragmatic and includes 1. Sandhi, making peace, 2. Vigra, war, 3. Jhana, marching, 4. Asan, sitting tight, Dvaita, dividing one's forces, and 6. Samsaya, seeking the protection of a more powerful ruler. So Krishna book explains with a beautiful analogy of what's happening here. The ocean is the source of water in a river. The ocean is Krishna and Balaram. The cloud is created by evaporation of ocean water, and the same water is distributed as rain all over the surface of the earth, and then returns to the ocean in rivers. So Krishna and Balaram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are the source of knowledge, but because they were playing like ordinary boys, they set the example so that everyone would receive knowledge from the right source. Thus they agreed to take knowledge from a spiritual master, so that nobody can say I don't need a guru. Our commentators explain this the same in different words. Jiva Goswami says, O king, those best of persons, Krishna and Balaram, being themselves the original promulgators of all varieties of knowledge, could immediately assimilate each and every subject after hearing it explained just once, because they had it already realized before they heard the knowledge from So Sanatana Goswami writes, Nyaya and Anvikshi are listed separately since Nyaya is logic based on scripture. Anvikshi is called Vidya or method since material people are attracted to it. The word Sha indicates other things as well. The list in order of importance to less important subjects, but all are important in speaking. Yeah, on our analysis further of Sanatana Goswami of each word, text 35 and 36. O king, those best of persons, Krishna and Balaram, being themselves the original promulgators of all varieties of knowledge, could immediately assimilate each and every subject after hearing it explained just once. Thus with fixed concentration they learned the 64 arts and skills in as many days and nights. 64 every day one. That for most of us, to learn something from these arts, we need, and to become perfect in it, we need a whole lifetime, but they did it in, one day for each. They learned the skills, the 64 arts and skills, in as many days and nights. Thereafter, O king, they satisfied their spiritual master by offering him Guru Dakshinam. So, the purport, we will read the purport. It mentioned these 64 arts. So we'll read it and go through it, just to have an idea what it is all about. So, the following list comprises 64 subjects mastered by Lord Krishna and Lord Balaram in 64 days. Additional information may be found in Srila Prabhupada's Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. It's in Krishna book. So, the Lord learned 1. Gitam, singing. 2. Vadyam, playing on musical instrument. 3. Nityam, dancing. 4. Natyam, drama. 5. Alekyam, painting. 6. Visheshakachedyam, painting the face and body with colored unguents and cosmetics. 7. Tantula Kusuma Bali Vikara, preparing auspicious designs on the floor with rice and flowers. 8. Pushpastaranam, making a bed of flowers. 9. Dasana Vasanangarara, coloring one's teeth, clothes and limbs. 10. Mani Bhumika Karma, inlaying a floor with jewels. 11. Saya Rajanam, covering a bed. 12. Udakavadyam, ringing water pots. 13. Udakagata, splashing with water.
Maharaj, can we read a few to help? Can we read a few verses? Few of these qualities?
Yeah, let me...
Can we all read a few, if you agree?
Okay. Well, just a moment, I continue till 20. 14. Chitra Yoga, mixing colors. 15. Malya Ghatana Vikalpa, preparing reds. 16. Shekarapida Yodhyanam, setting a helmet on the head. 17. Nepatya Yoga, putting on apparel in a dressing room. 18. Karnapatra Bhanga, decorating the earlobe. 19. Sugandha Yukti, apply aromatics. 20. Bhushan Yojanam, decorating with jewelry. So who will read the next?
21. Anita Jala, Doglary. Somebody else? 22. Kuchamara Yoga, the art of disguise. 23. Hasta Langaba, sight of. 24. Sitra Sakapura Bhaja Vikara Kriya, preparing various varieties of salad, bread, cake, and other delicious foods. Somebody else?
25. Panaka Rasa Ragashava Yojanam. Preparing palatable drinks and tinging drafts with red color. 26. Suchi Vaya Karma. Needlework and weaving. 27. Sutra Krida. Making puppets dance by manipulating thin threads. Maybe somebody else can do 28.
28. Veena Damaru Kavyadani, playing on a lute in a small X-shaped drum. 29. Prahelika, making and solving riddles. Pratimala, capping verses or reciting poems verse for verse as a trial of memory or skill. Durvachaka Yoga, uttering statements difficult for others to answer. Pustaka Vachanam, reciting books. Natikakhyayika Darshanam, enacting short plays and writing anecdotes. Somebody else can.
Krishna and Balaram will learn 33. Kavya Samyasya Puranam, solving enigmatic verses. 34. Patika Vedra Bhana Vikalpa, making a bow from a strip of cloth and a stick. 35. Tarku Karma, spinning with a spindle. 36. Takshanam, carpentry. 37. Vastu Vidya, architecture. 38. Ropya Ratna Pariksha, testing silver and jewels. 39. Dhatu Vada, metallurgy. 40. Mani Raga Gnanam, tinging jewels with various colors.
41. Akaram Gyana Mineralogy. 42. Vikraya Veda Yoga, Herbal Medicine. 43. Mesa Ukta Lavaka Vidi, the art of training and engaging rams, cocks, and quails in fighting. 44. Sukha Laka Pralapayan, knowledge of how to train males and female parrots to speak and to answer the questions of human beings. 45. Anybody else?
Sadhanam, healing a person with ointments. Kesha Marjana Kaushalam, hairdressing. Akshara Mushtaka Kathanam, telling what is written in a book without seeing it, and telling what is hidden in another's fist. Mlecha Kutarka Vikalpa, fabricating barbarous or foreign sophistry. Desh Bhasha Dhyanam, knowledge of provincial dialects. Pushpa Shakatika Nirmiti Dhyanam, knowledge of how to build toy cards, towers. Somebody else would like to?
Yantra Matrika, composing magic squares, arrangement of numbers adding up to the same total in all directions. 52. Dharana Matrika, the use of amulets. 53. Samvat Vacham, conversation. 54. Manasi Kavya Kriya, composing. 55. Kriya Vikalpa, designing a literary work or medical remedy. 56. Chalitaka Yoga, building shrines. 57. Abhidhana Kosha Achando Jnanam, lexicography and the knowledge of poetic meters. 58. Vastra Gopanam, disguising one kind of cloth to look like another. 59. Yuta Vishesham, knowledge of various forms of gambling. 60. Akarsha Krida, playing dice. 61. Balaka Kridanakam, playing with children's toys. 62. Vainayika Vidya, enforcing discipline by mystic power. 63. Vajayiki Vidya, gaining victory. And 64. Vaitaliki Vidya, awakening one's master with music at dawn. Thank you, Maharaj, for allowing us.
Thank you. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that all the details of these 64 arts, they can be consulted in the Tantras. Tantra means methods, that systems, and in these scriptures you find the details that also some clarification. Reds in text 15 are garlands, and point 29 is about capping verses. Capping verses means creating verses. So in Nectar of Devotion, there Krishna has two qualities of which are mentioned as highly learned and highly intelligent. So if we go back to this chapter 21 of Nectar of Devotion, then we have first the quality 11, highly learned. That we'll read the first 3 paragraphs. When a person is highly educated and acts strictly on moral principles, he is called highly learned. A person conversant in different departments of knowledge is called educated because he acts on moral principles. He is called morally stout. Together, these two factors constitute learning. Krishna's receiving education from Sandipani Muni is described by Sri Narada Muni as follows. In the beginning, Lord Brahma and others are like clouds of evaporated water from the ocean of Krishna. In other words, Brahma first received the Vedic education from Krishna, as the clouds receive water from the ocean. The Vedic education or instruction which was spoken by Brahma to the world was then reposed upon the mountain of Sandipani Muni. Sandipani Muni's instructions to Krishna are like the reservoir of water on the mountain, which flows as a river and goes again to mix with the source, the ocean of Krishna. To be more clear, the idea is that Krishna actually cannot be instructed by anyone, just as the ocean does not receive water from any source but itself. It only appears that the rivers are pouring water into the ocean. So it is clear that Brahma received his education from Krishna, and from Brahma, via the disciplic succession, this Vedic instruction was distributed. Sandipani Muni is likened to the river, which is flowing down again to that same original ocean of Krishna. The Siddhas, the inhabitants of Siddhaloka, which were all born with fully developed mystic power, and the Charanas, the inhabitants of a similar planet, pray to Krishna as follows. My Lord Govinda, the goddess of learning, is decorated with 14 kinds of educational ornaments. Her intelligence is all-pervading within the 4 departments of the Vedas. Her attention is always on law books given by the great sages like Manu. And she is apparelled in 6 kinds of expert knowledge, namely the Vedic evidence, grammar, astrology, rhetoric, vocabulary, and logic. Her constant friends are the supplements of the Vedas, the Puranas, and she is decorated with the final conclusion of all education, and now she has acquired an opportunity to sit with you as a class friend in school, and she is now engaged in your service. Interesting. We have quality 12 is highly intelligent. I just read the first paragraph. Yes, highly intelligent. A man is called intelligent if he has a sharp memory and fine discretion. As far as Krishna's memory is concerned, it is said that when he was studying in the school of Sandipani Muni in Avantipura, he showed such a sharp memory that by once taking instruction from the teacher, he immediately became perfect in any subject. Actually, he's going to the school of Sandipani Muni. Was to show the people of the world that however great or ingenious one may be, he must go to higher authorities for general education. However great one may be, he must accept a teacher or spiritual master. So Krishna gives the example. Now we have some long purports also by our acharyas. It would take us too long to go just through it. Text 37. O king, the learned Brahman Sandipani carefully considered the two lords' glorious and amazing qualities and their superhuman intelligence. Then, after consulting with his wife, he chose as his remuneration the return of his young son who had died in the ocean at Bprs. Short purport. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the child was captured by the consul demon while he was playing at the Mahashiva Kshetra. Then he was swallowed by Sankashur. Yeah. So, you see, I just read the commentary of Sanatana Goswami on text 37. The intelligent Brahman Vicha saw the astonishing greatness of the two boys who in a very short time could absorb unlimited knowledge, which he thought Matim was beyond human ability. For he saw their greatness and their intelligence endowed with great qualities. He consulted with his wife because of wondering what to request or because he had affection for her. Their son, while playing in the water, when they went there on pilgrimage, had been swallowed by Sankashura. The word Ha indicates joy, because the Lord would show his greatness in surpassing death and prarabdha karma. O king, Sukadev calls out in astonishment at request. O Rajan means the Brahman shown. Yeah, it's an extraordinary request, of course. Text 38. So be it, replied these two great chariot warriors of limitless might, and they at once mounted their chariot and set off for Prabhas. When they reached that place, they walked upon the shore and sat down. In a moment, the deity of the ocean, recognizing them to be the Supreme Lord, approached them with offerings of tribute. Purport. If someone wants to read the purport.
Western scholar. Oh, okay, after you. Mataji, sorry, carry on. Kasturika, carry on.
No trouble, please. You go ahead, please.
Okay, Western scholars sometimes think that references in ancient books of wisdom to the deity of the ocean, the deity of the sun, and so on, reveal a primitive mythical way of thinking. They sometimes say that primitive men think that the ocean is a god and that the sun and moon are gods. In fact, references such as the word Sindhu in this verse, meaning the ocean, indicate the person who governs that aspect of physical nature. Kasturi, carry on.
Thank you, brother. We can give several modern examples. In the United Nations, we may say the United States votes yes, the Soviet Union votes no. We hardly mean that the physical countries or the buildings in them have voted. We mean that a particular person representing that political and geographical entity has voted. Yet the newspapers will simply say the United States voted, decided, etc. And everyone knows what that means. Similarly, in business, we may say a large con- conglomerate that has swallowed up a smaller firm. We hardly mean that the buildings, office equipment, and that like have physically swallowed another building full of workers and office equipment. We mean that the empowered authorities have engaged in a particular act on behalf of their respective corporative entities. Unfortunately, modern scholars are eager to confirm their pet theories that ancient spiritual wisdom is primitive, mythic, and largely supplanted by more modern ways of thinking, exemplified by their own eloquent remarks. However, much in modern scholarship must be rethought in the light of Krishna consciousness.
Thank you. Text 39. The Supreme Lord Krishna addressed the Lord of the Ocean. Let the son of my Guru be presented at once. The one you seized here with your mighty waves. Shiva Goswami said, Krishna then showed his spouse, Bhagavan. The son should be delivered here with the same body without decay, Pradiyatam. Because you are the Devata, this is possible for you to do. You devoured him here in Prabhas. Iha. Text 40. The ocean replied, O Lord Krishna, it was not I who abducted him, but the demonic descendant of Diti, named Panchajana, who travels in the water in the form of a conch. Purport. Clearly the demon was too powerful for the ocean to control, otherwise the ocean would have prevented such an unlawful act. The Shiva Goswami goes in a detailed analysis of all the words of the verse. Then we have text 41. Indeed, the ocean said, that demon has taken him away. Hearing this, Lord Krishna entered the ocean, found Pansajana and killed him. But the Lord did not find the boy within the demon's belly. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, the ocean said, I have not taken the boy. The Daitya named Pansajana has taken the boy. He is a powerful demon who I cannot defeat. So the last part of verse 40 and the first part of verse 41 are one sentence. There is also an additional line added according to the Vaishnava Doshani. Astite nachto nunam tat shutva satvaram Prabhu. Prabhu becomes the subject of the next line. Taking the conch, he mounted his chariot, which he had left on the shore of the ocean. Though Krishna is omniscient and knew that the boy was not in the ocean, he left Balaram on the shore along with the chariot and went into the ocean with the pretext of searching for the body to obtain his own conch shell. The conch shell was a product of the body of the Asura Pansajana Tadanga Prabhavam, But because the conch was spiritual, it was also eternal. Like Jai and Vijay, the conch had temporarily attained the qualities of a powerful asura, according to some explanations. The Avantai Kanda of the Skanda Purana says, having killed Pansajanya, the asura, in the form of an aquatic, Krishna took the conch which had been swallowed by him previously. From this evidence, some people explained that the conch was residing within the demon's body and merely came out of the demon's body, Tat Angrajatam, when Krishna killed him. That Jiva Goswami goes again in the analysis of the Sanskrit, text 44. Yes. Lord Janardhan took the conch shell that had grown around the demon's body and went back to the chariot. Then he proceeded to Samyamani, the beloved capital of Yamaraj, the Lord of Death. Upon arriving there with Lord Balaram, he loudly blew his conch shell, and Yamaraj, who keeps the conditioned souls in check, came as soon as he heard the resounding vibration. Yamaraj elaborately worshipped the two lords with great devotion and then addressed Lord Krishna, who lives in everyone's heart. O Supreme Lord, what shall I do for you and Lord Balaram, who are playing the part of ordinary humans? Someone can read the purport, please.
Prabhupada Priya? Oh, no. Purnamasi Priya? Would you like to read?
The conscience the Lord took from Pancha Jnana, which is called Pancha Jnana, is the same one he sounded at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. According to Acharya, Pancha Jnana had become a demon in a way similar to that of Jaya and Vijay. In other words, though appearing in the form of a demon, he was actually a devotee of the Lord. The Sakanda Purana, Vintakanda, describes the wonderful things that happened when the Lord Krishna sounded his conch. Can somebody else read?
The hell known as Asipritya Vana, the shape, sword-like leaves on its trees, and the hell named Rurava becomes free of its Rura breast. The Rava hell lost its fearfulness, and all cooking stopped in the Kumbha hell. The Skanda Purana further states, these sinful reactions eradicate all the inhabitants of hell, attain liberation, and approach the spiritual world.
Yes, amazing what happened in the hell as Krishna entered the abode of Yamaraj. That Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Krishna, the conch, and all the inhabitants of hell were delivered on hearing the sound. The Avantikanti says, all the knife-like leaves of the sword plant in hell dried up. Raurava lost its savage quality, and Bhairava lost its frightful aspect. Kumbhipaka lost its power of cooking. All the inhabitants of hell were purified of their sins and attained prema bhakti. He also sent the inhabitants of hell to Vaikuntha. That amazing. The Jiva Goswami reveals the conch is actually the eternal associate of the Lord. By a curse of a Brahmin, he took the role of a demon like Jai and Vijay in the hand of Krishna. By his will, the conch took on a delicate form with suitable sounds. And he quotes from the Bhaktivedanta. Killing Panchajanya, the great serpent demon, who took possession of the conch as his house previously, Krishna grasped him by his middle. Not obtaining the boy in the demon's stomach, Krishna thought the child had gone to Yama's abode and then spoke to Varuna. O Lord of the aquatics, give me a huge chariot by which I can face Yama in battle. Formerly, with that chariot you killed demons who were proud of their strength. Today give me that chariot. The city of Yam is called Dir, Dayitam, since Krishna had ascertained that the boy was there. Janardana means he who fulfills all the desires of his devotees. It is understood that at this time Balaram manifested his plug since he is called Halayuda in this verse. The effect of blowing the conch is described in Bhaktivedanta. By the sound of the conch, the most sinful in hell gave up their fear and became happy. The fires of hell became peaceful on seeing Krishna. All the swords became blunt on seeing him, and all the torture machines fell apart on seeing him. Obvious, the blades in Ashipatra hell broke. Raurava lost its cruelty. The hell created by Vara lost its fearful nature. Kumbhipaka hell did not cook anyone. When Krishna arrived, the hell in which sinners are thrown from a mountain gave up its terrible nature. The iron needles lost their power of stitching. The Vaitarani river, hard to cross, became easy to cross. When the Lord of the universe arrived, everyone became liberated because their sins were destroyed. Seeing Krishna, they attained indestructible abode. Getting on millions of airplanes, they looked at the lotus-eyed Lord and became all free from sin. O sage, when everyone saw the Lord of Lords, the form of the universe, hell became empty. Yes. So Sanatana Goswami says more or less the same thing with the same points. Text 45. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, suffering the bondage of his past activity, my spiritual master's son was brought here to you. O great king, obey my command and bring this boy to me without delay. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, though he must gaze, the person must endure the effect of his past deeds, Nyakarma Nibandhana. You should bring the son of my Guru to me. From the 11th canto, 31:12, it is understood that Yamaraj brought back the boy with the same body that he had when he previously took him. The commentary of Sridhar Swami also mentioned this. In respecting your order and bringing him, what fault is there for you? Yes. So there is another quality of Krishna mentioned in Nectar of Devotion, that in the same chapter, that 21, and that is quality. It's in chapter 2, I think, chapter 22, quality 56. Krishna has inconceivable potencies. So there we have paragraph 4. A description of Krishna's power in minimizing the sufferings of sinful reactions is given in Brahma Samhita as follows. Beginning from the great King of Heaven down to the end, everyone is undergoing the reactions of past deeds. But the devotee of Krishna is relieved from such reactions by the grace of Krishna. This was clearly proved when Krishna went to the place of Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, to reclaim the body, the dead son of his teacher. Krishna's teacher had requested Krishna to bring back his dead son, and to do so, Krishna went to the place of Yamaraj to claim that soul who had been brought there by Yamaraj and was being kept under his control. Krishna immediately ordered Yamaraj, "Be benefited by my order and return that soul unto me." The purport of this incident is that even a person who is under the regulative principles of the laws of nature and is therefore punishable by Yamaraj under these laws can be granted complete immunity by the grace of Krishna. So, yes. Of course, Krishna says, Sarvadam Pricham Mamkam Samvacham Tam Sarvapapuya Mokshishyasmi Machicha. Mokshishyasmi Machicha. Do not fear. I take care of your sinful reactions. Now we go back to the Bhagavatam, text 46. Yamaraj said, "So be it," and he brought forth the Guru's son. Then those two most exalted Yadus presented the boy to their spiritual master and said, "Please select another boon." Yeah. So, text 47. What boon will he request? The spiritual master said, "My dear boy, you too have completely fulfilled the disciples' obligations to reward the spiritual master. Indeed, with disciples like you, what further desires could a guru have?" Yeah, so Vishvanasya Thakur said, yes, what desires remain for the guru of persons like you? Therefore, being the guru of you in person, what desires could remain for me? That. Text 48. O heroes, please return home. May your fame sanctify the world, and may the Vedic hymns be ever fresh in your minds, both in this life and the next. So, this is interesting, that it says to Krishna, may the Vedic hymns be ever fresh in your mind, both in this life and in the next. See, Jiva Goswami. Even though my house is your house, go to your house in Mathura out of conventional identity. Svakriya is an alternative version. O heroes, Viro, you are heroes because of such a gift and such bravery. As the two boys offering respect were going, he gave blessings. May you have purifying fame. So, he gives a blessing, may your words always be fresh. We experience Krishna's words, Bhagavad Gita, always fresh. It's always, we can always go deeper in Bhagavad Gita, it's without. And now, verse 49 and 50, the two last verses. Thus receiving their ghosts permission to leave, the two lords returned to their city on their chariot, which moved as swiftly as the wind and resounded like a cloud. So, Jiva Goswami comments, Anuchyata Svaguna is another version. Svapuram, their own city, indicates affection with possessiveness for Mathura. They arrived swiftly like the wind, with the sound of the chariot rumbling like a cloud. Hearing the sound from far off, everyone came out to greet them. Sukadev exclaims, O son, Tata, out of great joy. Now the last verse. All the citizens rejoiced upon seeing Krishna and Balaram, who they had not seen for many days. The people felt just like those who have lost their wealth and then regained it. Jiva Goswami, right? The residents of Mathura and others were overjoyed. Some saw Krishna and Balaram on the road and others came to the city. Then there's a quote of the Harivamsa, and I will read the translation. All the Yadus rose to greet Krishna and Balaram, with Ugrasena in front, along with the army, with joyous minds, the artisans, princes, ministers, priests, along with the young and old approached. Musical instruments played satisfying Krishna. The streets shone with flags and garlands everywhere. The palace was completely joyous with the arrival of Govinda. As at the sacrifice for Indra, joyful minstrels, dear to the Yadus, sang foremost songs of victory on the main road. When the famous brothers Krishna and Balaram arrived, all the citizens played with their friends without fear. There was no misery, contamination of lifelessness in the city when Krishna arrived in Mathura, O king. The birds sang sweetly, the cows, horses, and minds were jubilant. All the men and women had contented minds. Auspicious, pure wind blew in all directions. All the devotees were happy in their abodes. All the symbols of Satya Yuga appeared when Krishna arrived in the city. Now that I will read from Krishna book, and we will go to chapter 45, and there the last paragraph. Sometimes, the last paragraph, no, Shivalaya. No, that doesn't seem to be applicable. Anyway, we are at the end of this chapter. So if you have any questions, please. I have to go a minute to the bathroom. I'm back in a minute. But if you have questions, please raise your hand. So please. Yes, Shyaman Jyoti Krishna Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, the verse in Bhagavatam, the verse 44 about Panchajanya, the concha that had grown around the demon's body. So he was a devotee, but he acted as a demon. And is Panchajanya the conch shell, but he's surrounding the demon's body? Is that correct understanding? The demon is Panchajanya, but the conch shell is surrounding, according to the translation on verse 44, around the demon's body.
Let's look at verse 44 again and the commentaries of our acharyas that we get.
The first line of the translation.
44.
Maharaj.
That's a long, but so many commentaries. Lord Janardhan took the conch shell that had grown around the demon's body and went back to the chariot. So the paper does not really clarify that, but Jiva Goswami says, the conch is actually the eternal associates of the Lord. By curse of a Brahman, he took the role of a demon like Jai and Vijay. In the hand of Krishna, by his will the conch took on a delicate form with a suitable sound. And then there is a quote from Avantikanta. Killing Panchajana, the great serpent demon, who took possession of the conch as his house. As his house. He used it as his house. So it was grown around his body. It was his house. Like a snail has also the house on its back. That took possession of the conch as his house. Previously, Krishna grasped him by his middle. Not obtaining the boy in the demon's stomach, Krishna thought the child has gone to Yamaraj's abode. But it says here, the demon took possession of the conch as his house. That's what is said here. If it took possession, then it was not grown around the demon's body. But it said, that had grown around the demon's body. I'm afraid
Thank you, Maharaj.
it doesn't clarify, really. That we get some more information, but it doesn't clarify. Good, thank you. Interesting point. That means you have listened attentively. Pavitra Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, text number 28.
28. Yeah.
The magnanimous Vasudev then remembered the cows he had mentally given away on the occasion of Krishna and Balaram's birth. Kamsa has stolen them, those cows. Vasudev now recovered them and gave them away in charity. But Vasudev gave these cows mentally. How is it that they are stolen by Kamsa?
No, previously, Vasudev had many cows, but when he was put in prison by Kamsa, then Kamsa took all these cows. Therefore he had no cows to give, but mentally he was giving so many cows, 10,000 cows mentally, in his mind. But he wanted to give them, in practice, he wanted to give them real cows, but he had no real cows. Well, so he gave them mentally. And then later, Krishna knew the desire of Vasudev. So he gave him the opportunity now to give really 10,000 cows to the Brahmins, not just mentally. Krishna knew his desire and it was fulfilled. So that's wonderful. Is that clear?
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj, again, before Krishna and Balaram goes to school, in the Rasa dance, they were already dancing excellently. They were already singing nicely. How again they are going to learn how to sing and dance?
Yeah, the explanation, the main explanation, which you find again and again in our commentators, is they wanted to show the importance of accepting a guru and give the example. That so they did not have to learn anything. They were already perfect in all these things. So they didn't learn anything because they knew already everything from the practical side and so on. But they played the role to inspire everyone that they have to take shelter of a guru to learn. So he gave the example, and that's very important. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if I would not do my duties, then it would create disaster in the world. So he's showing everyone's duty by giving the example here. Of course, there are things these duties we must follow in Krishna's footsteps. His superhuman acts we cannot follow, we cannot lift Govardhan, but these things we must follow. Therefore, also we will see his pastimes in Dvarka as a Grihastha. He gives the example how to live as a Grihastha for everyone to learn. So Krishna is the supreme teacher in that sense. Does that make sense?
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. Anything else, please? Yeah, Avinash Maturpam, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
My humble obeisance, Sai Prabhupada.
Maharaj, it is really so amazing that Gurukul, such a large variety of arts were taught and training given in them. It is really greatly amazing. And many of them border on some sort of mental powers, which in the age of Kali Yuga, probably they may not be possible at all in modern. At least whatever number you know or anybody knows that at least some of these arts attempts have been made to teach them in schools anywhere around the world. Yeah, if you it's interesting to know that.
Yeah, that's a nice comment. That all these arts that they are not being taught today. Some of them, that but it's these arts were part of the life in the Vedic society. That at least still in Dvapara Yuga today, yeah, they are very difficult to find. At least some of them. So, any other further comment? So tomorrow is Radhastami, but I heard in Vrindavan it's today Radhastami. Is that correct?
No, Maharaj, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, huh? Yeah.
Yes, Maharaj.
Radhastami in America today.
Yeah.
Prabhupada Priya Mataji said it's Radhastami there today.
Okay.
In America.
In America.
But tomorrow it is also here in UK and India. Radhastami tomorrow.
In tomorrow, yeah. Yeah, we have tomorrow it's here also in the Ukraine. So So this evening I take a night train to Odessa. I will give a lecture for Adastami there, and then I'm going to Koblevo. That's where the festival takes place here in the Ukraine during 5 days. But they don't have internet there, so I will have to go with mobile internet. But let's hope for the best. I'm looking forward to see you in two.
Maharaj, will there be class, Maharaj, tomorrow?
Tomorrow there is no class according to my calendar. No. No. If I look here tomorrow, no. We will start chapter 46 on Wednesday. Same time. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Happy Janmashtami.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai Prabhupada.